Okay, proportional and non-proportional word problems. Same thing as when we looked at equations and graphs and tables. So like the equations, y equals mx plus b, if it's proportional, there will not be a plus b. It'll just have the mx. Okay, if it's non-proportional, then you would see the plus b. So technically, there's really just one number if it's proportional. If it's non-proportional, you'll see two. So that's kind of going to be what we're looking for when we look at the word problems. If there are two numbers involved, say like a fee and then a cost per hour or per something, two numbers, then it would be non-proportional. If it just costs something per hour or per day, then that would be proportional if it's just one number. So looking at number 1, identify if the following are proportional or non-proportional. This person won the state lottery and will get paid the entire amount of his winnings in equal monthly installments over 30 years. Okay, so there's one number. We don't know the amount of the winnings. It doesn't matter. We know that there's one number over 30 years, so that would be a proportional situation. Question 2, another girl won the state lottery and will get paid a quarter of her winnings up front. A quarter of her winnings up front. So she's getting paid some amount of money, so 25%. And then get paid the remainder of her winnings in equal monthly installments over 25 years. So they gave us a number in words, but so they technically gave us two numbers. So that would mean it would be non-proportional. Okay, just a regular equation, not so much a word problem. 11.75p, it's in the same format as y equals mx plus b. And so the one thing that's missing is the plus b. So that means it would be proportional. Same thing on number 4. On number 5, W equals 4.8V minus 1500. Okay, so think about what is extra. How many numbers are there? There's 2, so that's going to be a non-proportional situation. Okay, another word problem. Tim's grandfather gives him $15,000 college graduation gift. Tim then gets a job and makes $4,200 per month. So if you just needed to know, the equation would look like something like this. So $4,200 per month plus just the flat out $15,000. But the fact that there's two numbers tells us that it's non-proportional situation. Claudia pays $75 every week in gasoline, for gasoline. One number. Kim receives a birthday present of $100, then starts a job that pays her $3,600 every month. Okay, the next set of questions are identifying if the following are functions or not functions. Okay, remember if it's a graph and we're deciding if it's a function or not, we can use the vertical line test, which just means we would draw a vertical line, so a line straight up and down, anywhere on the line or the drawing that they give us. And if that line does not cross ours more than once, then that means it is a function. Okay, so I drew 4 lines, and it didn't cross mine more than once on any of those. So that means this guy is going to be a function. Okay, the next one, they gave me a circle on a graph. I'm going to draw a few lines just so we can see. And even just looking at the first one, the picture crossed my line here and it crossed it here. So it crossed it in 2 places. So that means it's not a function. Same thing on these, vertical line test. I'm going to use a different color. On number 12, vertical line test, look and see how many times it crosses my line. Okay, if it's coordinates, remember we're only looking at the x's. We want to make sure the x's don't repeat. So I'm just going to mark out the y's. I don't need to look at those, just the x's. So I'm looking at -2, 0, -1, and 1. Do any of those numbers repeat? Do we see doubles of any of those numbers? No. -1 and 1 are different. Those are not the same numbers, so that would be a function. That would work. Same thing on 14. I'm going to go ahead and mark out my y value so we don't get confused. And then just compare the x's. Do any of those repeat? Same thing on number 15, only the x value, so I'm going to mark out the y's. I have 2, 4, 2, and 9. So I did have a repeat. I had 2 2's. So that means no function. These are proportional, non-proportional. Okay, these are proportions like we did at the very beginning of this unit, where kind of like in 7th grade, where you cross multiply, divide, you're looking for a missing value. So when the amount of Charlie's paycheck, so that's our money, is directly proportional to the hour. So it's telling you exactly how your ratio should be set up. Money's on top, hours is on the bottom. And so if that's how my labels are, then that means I have to keep the money on top all the way across, hours on the bottom all the way across. If he works 17 hours and makes $165.75, that situation, that whole sentence goes together. So that means they are going to be on the same fraction, the same ratio. So I'm going to put 165.75 up top with 17 on the bottom because those two went together. And then it says determine the number of hours, so that means that's X. That's what I don't know. He needs to receive a paycheck of $438.75. So $438.75. And this is when we have to cross multiply the two numbers we have across from each other and divide by the lonely guy. Divide by the guy that's across from X. Same thing on this one. On number 20, the distance varies directly with hours. So it's telling you how to set it up. Miles over hours. Okay, if a truck goes 576 miles in 9 hours, those are together. They're in the same sentence. So we're going to put those on the same ratio. And if it continues to travel, how long? That's our X. How many hours will it take for it to go 1408? Cross multiply, divide by the lonely guy. Okay, the last one. Write the following graph in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So our b is the first thing we need to find. It's the easiest thing to see, kind of. And it's going to be -4, so we already know that part. Now I would use that point. So that's at 0, -4, and I would use this point here also, and that's at 6 and 0. So use that point to do your labeling, x1, y1, x2, y2, and then use your slope formula, because the only thing you have left to do is to find your slope.